Here we are, living from empowerment. You know, one of the most common ways that we think that we are gaining more power, when actually the very opposite is true, is when we justify our actions or we blame other people for something that we needed to do or have. And we got that knee-jerk reaction and our buttons were pushed, or we get defensive. And then we can usually know that we are reacting because of a restimulation of some past trigger within us. So let me share an antidote I heard from the great visionary Buckminster Fuller. Bucky is always someone I truly admired for his genius and his thinking outside the box, and also for his centeredness, not to come from blame or justification. So here's the story. Back in the late 70s, a good friend of mine had the great opportunity to see Bucky lecture in San Francisco. And after the lecture, the audience was asked to engage in an open mic Q&A from the audience. One gentleman took the mic and told Buck that he was just full of beans and he didn't know what the heck that he was talking about. And he had no business or basis from his point of view. Well, Bucky paused for a moment. He thought about it. And then he looked toward the speaker and replied, "Thank you." And as Buck paused for a moment and then wanted to proceed on to the next person for the Q&A, he looked toward that other person, and the gentleman repeated his thought about Buck a little louder and a little more firmly. And again, Buck paused. He reflected on himself. Then he looked squarely at the speaker and he replied, "Thank you," once again. Buck turned one more time to the next person. The man repeated what he said, again, even louder, angrier, and he wanted to know why he was being dismissed. This time, Buck responded something like this: "Did you not notice that I paused to consider what you had to say? I looked inside myself to see if there was some part of me that was reacting to you and what you were saying, particularly if there was some part of me that was upset or prone to counterattack. Well, I found that when I did that kind of reflection, there usually is something there for me to learn about myself, something for which I need to improve. In this instance, I found no reaction. Thus, you are simply sharing your opinion, to which you are fully entitled, to which I have no argument. Therefore, thank you seemed the most appropriate." So to move us into greater empowerment, we must set our intention to looking at our blame, our reactions, our defensive language, or the actions that we have, and pause. We can use that internal pause button that we learned earlier and see if there is something that we need to learn about ourselves. If there is, we can say thank you, and we can find that within ourselves. If there isn't, just say thank you to that person. So look at the reaction inside yourself as feedback about yourself, not feedback about the other person. See if you feel more empowered as you do this. This is a way that you become the hero and not the victim. Take the time to complete this corresponding exercise. Write down areas in the past week or month or a past situation that you reacted rather than acted. Look at your reactions and reflect on what you could learn from that, where that was in you that you need to expand and learn from. What is the feedback that you received? What did you learn?